June 13th, 2024. Today's vlog, I guess, is going to be more of like a talking thing or a podcast like episode where honestly, you're not going to see any footage. It's just me talking. So if you want to go do something and listen to this episode, go ahead. If anyone is even watching or listening to this, thank you. This week was a weird one. I was starting to feel super burnt out. Not necessarily from work, a little bit of work for sure, but just like family stuff, personal stuff, mental health stuff, physical training stuff, just getting back into the routine of things. And this is a prime example of how and why we should never rely, well, not never, but we should not rely on motivation to help us lose weight or help us reach a specific goal or help us try to get into some school program or help us get that career that we want. It's very temporary. The motivation honestly just faded this past week. And I went out of town. I went away for the weekend. I didn't film. I didn't track. I did work out. I did do my steps, but I was just not present. I was just not here. I was telling my friends actually that I'm just so frustrated and lack of creativity in my brain and like, what am I gonna film? And me thinking like, you know what? My life is actually quite a bit more boring than I thought, and I think I'm quite interesting sometimes, but like obviously not every week or every day of your life can be like that. But even though I didn't film, I did film this week, but it's like it wasn't really anything, and I barely did. I literally used my phone for like 2 shots maybe. Didn't even use this camera, didn't even think about anything, didn't even plan out the week or thought about the week, or I don't know, it just felt like every single day this week in terms of work kind of fell through. So it was like, whatever, that's fine. And then other things came up, and then I just lost it all, it felt like, and I just felt so defeated. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't even want to post a video today. It's like literally 9 o'clock, and I'm going to edit this after. It'll probably be posted right before midnight today. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to stay consistent to my every Thursday upload and be more reliable and become that type of person. And also just, this is part of the journey. This week, I didn't really film anything. I didn't do anything cool. I didn't do anything exciting. I just felt like everything was kind of crashing down on me. I did feel super recovered after the weekend away, but then honestly, Monday came, the anxiety came, and it's like, honestly, with my jobs, yes, jobs with an S, I kind of do like 5 different things. It's like, there's no such thing really as a weekend anyway, so I don't know why I get so anxious for Monday. But anyways, that's not the point. It's more like I don't know. I thought I was recovered. I just freaked out. I didn't track any food again. And oh my gosh, I totally overate. Like earlier this week, I actually did video this. So I will put that here as B-roll. So right on top. But I weighed myself at like 172 or 173, and I just felt like I know a number shouldn't matter, but it just felt like I was crashing down, and I thought I was like making all of this progress, but now I'm just going backwards. And I've been doing so much activity, I've been doing so much training, I started running, I started doing this, I've been biking almost everywhere, and I'm at like 172, 173, and it just felt like my heart sank a bit. And it's just like, what am I doing? What am I what am I vlogging? What kind of journey is this? And I know journey is not like a linear process, blah, blah, blah. It's more like a whatever this is. to get to that point, and it's just like, it still doesn't feel good, right? So this week, I just wanted to give up. I was like, I'm just gonna stop. I can't do this. Like, I thought I wanted to do this, and I still do want to do this, and that's why I'm filming this right now. But on top of the self-development world in terms of my physical health, the lack of tracking of food and the lack of exercise, or just the lack of motivation in general, and the weight increase, I saw my psychiatrist on Tuesday. And I do tend to talk about mental health, or, things I've been through in the past. People could think it's more like me trying to get attention or anything like that, but it's not. It's just more that, in a way, I've attracted more people, whether it be clients, whether it be friends, whether it just be people around me talking to me more about their mental health struggles. And it's been nice because they've been like more comfortable with it. And it's like, that's kind of the point of me talking about it, is that mental health, or having some sort of mental illness, is such a lonely thing, journey, place to be. It feels like no one is experiencing what you're experiencing because, well, nowadays people are talking about it more, but not a lot of people talk about their mental health struggles or their mental illnesses or what they're going through. And this week I just felt like I needed to talk about this one. So on Tuesday I saw my psychiatrist, and I was gifted with a new diagnosis. And the reason I say gifted is, a diagnosis is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to physical health, mental health, whatever it might be. But yeah, so it just feels like my friend said when she commented on one of my stories, was, it's just like adding another thing to my collection, or another thing to my list of things. And well, this time I was diagnosed with ADHD. Yay. I don't know how this came up with my psychiatrist. I've been seeing him since university, and yeah, he did an assessment, and he's like, why haven't we talked about this? And to be honest, the problem with therapy and psychiatry in general is, like, if the patient chooses not to talk about a specific thing, then the doctor will not be able to treat it or understand it. I never really talked about how I can't really sit still. Like in elementary, I was always like kind of fidgety. I really had to like force myself to focus if I had to focus, or especially in exam rooms, like in the gym doing exams, I would like need to go to the bathroom 5 times to just move. That's probably how I got into sports or athletics or working out and stuff, is like I just need to move. I'm like this like little hyperactive ball that just needs to like do something in order to calm down. And so it was like more of a combined diagnosis. So instead of the inattentive or hyperactive, from my understanding, I'm still learning about all of this, by the way. It was like more in the hyperactive side still, but like combined. Now I'm understanding why I have more brain fogs. I thought it was just more depression. But obviously that can play a factor for sure with brain fogs. Maybe I wasn't resting, things like that. And like just energy wise, I was just never okay in terms of energy. And like, before I continue explaining this stuff, let me just go through my little list of mental illnesses / diagnoses. So anxiety, that was like second year university. Clinical depression, that was all I had until about July 2021. Then I was diagnosed with bipolar 2, so like the second one, which I've never talked about before, and honestly not a lot of people know. I am somewhat ashamed of it because it's a scary thing. That could be another episode to talk about, but it can be a little bit scary. And I'm very excited and happy and like to be supported and surrounded by my partner. He has been amazing with this. If there is something you can watch to understand bipolar a little bit, obviously it's not exact and everyone's experience with bipolar is very different, but the Queen Charlotte series, I'm very like, after watching it over the weekend, I'm just very adamant about if people want to understand it a little bit better, to watch it, because like according to, like, they don't specifically say, obviously because it was the olden days, like what like they had or what the king had, but the internet says, especially specifically in the series, is bipolar. Seemed like more type 1 from my understanding, not a psychiatrist, yeah, but just like I like to call them episodes that the king had, just reminded me of myself so much sometimes. It was kind of hard for me to watch, but it was very nice to see that it, not nice to see, but it was comforting to understand. Like, this goes back to the whole lonely thing. When you're when you have a mental illness, is like, it's just nice to have that, oh, someone else has had that, or someone other than me would probably experience similar things. So these like episodes, I like to call it, that he went through in the show, I have something similar once in a while. It's not as often, and it's like probably half the intensity of what the show portrays it as, for me at least. Like, I don't know what he was going through. Like, there's a lot of theories on that, but just based off of this specific show and series and that context, I see it, I feel it, and it's scary to have those. Like, you just aren't there. You're just not thinking. You're like, someone has to snap you out of that, and it's just like, it's very embarrassing for me. So I try not to, like, to be honest, on the outside, if you know me in real life, I seem pretty okay for the most part. I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong. People might just see me differently, but I seem pretty okay. But when I'm home, and sometimes when it's like a 2-week low and I don't see anyone, and it's like a 2-week low that I haven't, or more, and like I'm just depressed and stuck, and like things can happen, and I don't know what else I can say about that, but it's scary. So anyways, I just wanted to say that to get it out of the way. But this episode, I guess, or video, is more about ADHD and this recent diagnosis and how I'm feeling about it. The reason I'm saying all of this is that I am on bupropion to like help me stay like awake, kind of thing, or it's like a stimulant for the depression. And this has been years, like since 3rd year or 2nd year of university or whatever. And I'm on my max of it. So I'm not I've been talking to my psychiatrist for the last few sessions about how I'm just so tired all the time, and like, I try to sleep, I try to have a routine, I try to exercise, I try to do all of these things outside of like medication and stuff, and I'm like, is something else, I guess, wrong with me? Or what's going on? Why am I so tired? Why do I need to take 5 naps sometimes in a day? What is happening? My blood work is fine, my everything is fine, like all my tests are fine. So what is it? Give it to me, tell me. And then after a few sessions, we've kind of talked it out, we figured it out, and yeah, ADHD. And it's not that I'm ashamed, but it's a little bit of this like an extra thing on top of my list of stuff, and another medication on top of the medications I'm already taking. And it's like quite a bit of medications already, and it's a lot. And I did start taking Vyvanse, and I do feel good. Like, I feel calm. I feel like I have energy. I probably seem a little bit different for the camera. I feel like I'm a little more, not concise, but I'm talking and I'm here. I feel present. I guess I just haven't had because of work, I just haven't had the time to sit with it. Like, I've been journaling about it a little bit, but I haven't had the time to sit with it and just be like, well, not just, but like to accept that, there are other things wrong with me, and that's okay. It's like, it's not your fault that things chemically in your brain are not working like neurotypically, even more so on top of the bipolar and depression. On the bright side, I do feel like my anxiety has gone like way low. Like, it's probably a little bit of a mix with the fluoxetine, like the medication, but also anxiety, like just coping with it since I have been going therapy and just dealing with everyday life and understanding how anxiety works. So I'm really happy to say that I feel like anxiety is, kind of going down, and we're maintaining and managing that very well. Like, if I could pet anxiety, I'd be like, good job. But the other three, bipolar is pretty maintained now because of medication for sure. I don't know if you can really cope or do something with that. I mean, I could look into it. We'll see. I don't know. My mood swings are a lot better. Less episodes, I like to call them. And then, yeah, I've just been on Vyvanse for about 2 days now, so I don't really know. But it has helped me feel more calm. It has helped me feel more energetic. I feel like my brain is working a little bit faster and better, more productive. It's just kind of rough because I feel like I didn't tell my psychiatrist about this because I was so ashamed. Because, like, I thought I had it, but I didn't want to admit it. But I'm also like, maybe I'm not a desk person. Like, I always tell people I can't be at a desk for 8 hours a day. So that's kind of why I became a personal trainer. You're up, you're on your feet, you're lifting, you're helping people, you're moving all day. And like, now that I've shifted half of my work into more of a video role or more video editing and seated stuff for hours in a day, I've really noticed that I can't sit still. I really can't sit still. And then I've noticed that I sometimes I'm not attentive with certain people sometimes. Or, like I said, I'm very tired all the time. There were other symptoms we talked about, but honestly, at this point, I'm just so tired, and like, it was just such a blur of everything that I'm having trouble accepting it, essentially. I'm just going through the motions of receiving the diagnosis, being understanding and thankful for it, but also grieving in a way of the fact that, like, it's not that I thought it was perfect because I was already diagnosed with bipolar in 2021, but it's like, there's another thing wrong with me, I felt like. And it's like, the thing is, it's not something wrong with you. It's just how you are, and it's genetic. It is what it is. And it's like, accepting that and learning that, it's been tough. And now I understand why I have this like tendency to want to finish people's sentences. Like, I don't know why. Or like, I have this tendency of forgetting things once in a while. Or I have this like tendency of like random intrusive thoughts that I have to say out loud, even though if I'm in a social scenario and no one's talking about that exact thing that I'm talking about. Or like having these not infatuation, like very deep passions for certain things and then getting sick of it. I don't know. I think that's a symptom. There's a lot that I talked to my psychiatrist about, and I just honestly, it was a lot. And all he said was, you gotta try this. I promise it'll help you. And honestly, how can you say no to the man that's pretty much been there for me since university and has helped me with my my brain and my head with medication up until now. And I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not that, I swear. And it's like, there's these like check marks or this assessment he did, whatever it is. And it was like there's like 2 check marks out of this like 20 questionnaire thing that was like not in the gray zone of what, not the gray zone, but the colored zone of what, you do have ADHD or something like that. So it's like, okay, take a breath and just yeah. I mean, I will be bringing it up more. I just wanted to talk about how difficult this week has been, and kind of like more of like a journal entry, more for me in the future to see, because I do want to post every week. I do want to see what happens to me in the next year before I'm 30, and a low is very normal. Not being motivated is very normal. Fluctuation in weight is very normal. This mental illness stuff is normal, technically, but it doesn't feel normal to me because, to be honest, like, we don't talk about it in Asian culture. It's kind of frowned upon, and anyone in school with ADD at the time, or ADHD, who can't sit still would get on their report card, like, can't sit still, gotta work on it, like, make sure they learn how to sit still. And I just honestly couldn't. Like, I had to take laps in the hallway, or I had to be like the class clown, even if I wasn't funny, just to feel like, because like I just felt like this ball, like, of like jitteriness that needed to like be released or something. But yeah, I'm on this journey now. I know this video is probably super boring, but we're here. I don't know what I'm gonna feel in the next bit here, but I'm hoping I can learn to accept it and be happy for myself. And like I've said earlier, and many times before in some of my other content, if you've watched or listened to it, is that mental illness is a thing, and I talk about it because no one talks about it, and people feel lonely. I felt lonely for the longest time. Like, I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I didn't want to burden anyone about it. I didn't believe in it even though I was experiencing it. I stopped taking my medication just to pretend or tell myself I'm normal. But that's not the case, and that's not how it is. And it's like, now I'm just learning how to accept another thing, and that's okay. It takes time, and being or having a mental illness doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And me talking about it is a little bit scary, especially because it's going online. It's like, why are you doing this? It's kind of weird. But it's more like so that people just don't feel lonely, because I just felt so lonely for the longest time. Feeling like I was dealing with all of this alone, and now I feel like because I'm pretty vocal about all of this, I attract some personal training clients that talk about it more with me or feel comfortable with it. Or I have friends that reach out and are like, you know, I'm going through X and I just wanted to talk to someone about it. Or I'm able to see a couple comments. Obviously, I don't get a lot of views on my stuff, but like a couple of comments of people like saying like, thanks for sharing or something like that. It just like means a lot. And this journey to 30 was supposed to be more of like a holistic kind of self-development thing. So obviously mental illness, fitness, physical strengthening or physical health, all of that is intertwined into trying to become the best version of myself. So this episode probably wasn't very fun or entertaining, but if you have ADHD, I guess we're ADHD buddies, so there we go. But we will be back on regular vlogging life stuff starting back tomorrow. So next week's vlog is going to be a very normal life vlog. And yeah, so please subscribe if you want. The vlogs are coming back. Tomorrow's also my dog's 7th birthday. And then the day after is my cat's gotcha day. So I will be filming that for sure. So that's going to be cute, right? So that'll be less sad or kind of weird, like, compared to this video. So yeah, thanks for watching.